Okay, hello. Today's MCB Expo is a testament to how much we were disappointed when we got the news that the IBC was cancelled. We have all been really looking forward to the opportunity to showcase what we've been busy with recently and have a look at what our colleagues, our suppliers and competitors have been cooking. But most of all, I think we were looking forward to having a good laugh with our friends across Europe and finally meet up again. But when the email came Tuesday last week, there was a big, oh no, across this building. It's not happening. IBC is cancelled. And it didn't take us long before we realized that we need to do something about this. And Thursday last week, we decided that we have to put up an MCB Expo for the first time. And in no time, we had 19 exhibitors from 7 countries or 7 locations. And now we have participants from across Europe joining us, either in the studios here in Bergen or in Oslo. My name is Christopher Hammer. I'm EU advisor at the Media Cluster, Media City Bergen, and I'm joined here today with Vegard in our studio in Oslo.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, my name is Vegard. I'm responsible for Triple M connected venues, which is the technology that we're using right now. So what we're doing today is actually we're able to connect Oslo and Bergen. So me and Christopher can talk, but we also connect a lot of other participants from across Europe, basically, to have presentations here today. So we're very happy to be here, and actually we foresee that this kind of way of making events is one of the ones that will be occurring more and more, where we have a little bit more of a physical presence than a home office, but still we're able to actually connect and get all the benefits of kind of the digital conferences where we don't have to travel as much and so on. So then we can actually have interactions on screen like now, and we can have audiences, multiple places, and basically this is how it's working. So to not use too much time, we're going to crack on with the show. The first presenter today is Eric. He's from NRK.
Vegard, may I just interrupt you for a second?
Okay.
Just a little bit about the logistics of today, before we go to the presentations, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So just to sort of brief you quickly, we will have 19 presentations. There will be maximum 5 minutes. And there will be opportunities to ask questions after each presentation. And if you're in the studio in Bergen or in Oslo, you will be invited to grab a microphone and ask your question on screen. If you're following us virtually, then there's opportunity to pose your question in the chat or wave your hand, and we'll try to connect you that way, get your question that way. When you do ask a question, we would ask you to please let us know who you are and the company you're working for. That sort of just gives a little bit of context to the question. So, Vegard, now it's back to the show.
Yeah, so the connected venues technology is actually so fast that you can interrupt across venues. You can it's so thank you for that. I guess I was responsible for saying that actually. So thank you. I completely forgot. But yeah. Back to the first presenter. That's Eric from NRK, and we have actually together been doing quite a lot of tests together on 5G technology and how to use that on non-public standalone networks. And to give you a quick insight on that, please welcome Eric.
Thank you. A quick insight, that will be difficult. 5 minutes is pushing it, but okay, we'll try. My name is Eric, I'm from NRK, and I guess I need a clicker, that's the one, yeah. Okay. So, looking at what we've done so far, we're basically hoping to figure out how wireless technology can work more efficiently for us. We have already used live view and other units for audio as well, but we haven't yet looked into how we can use 5G for real production before this year, basically. So we're hoping, of course, to get more integrated units in the future. Now we have like backpacks and things that are external. So, but I think this is not only about technology, this is also about, cultural changes that we need to expect in our organization. To be able to work remotely, we'll also have to get used to it and feel safe about it. So I think practice is the thing. So we started doing that as well. It's a parallel process. And of course, we can imagine that in the future we can go on air anywhere, and hopefully we're not that dependent on external equipment, and probably also be able to to get more efficient workflows, which is the main purpose of doing this, I guess. So looking at this image, you can imagine if you were dependent on fiber the way we are today, if you were to add another camera here, that would be very challenging. So just removing fiber is also one of the motivations that we have. With 5G, we believe that in a bit longer term, we can have quality just as good as fiber. And it's actually also tailored, I believe, for the needs we have in real high-end remote production, at least in the near future. So the reason for also going this way, I believe, has to do with IP. And just the fact that we are transporting these over wireless connections means that you have to have less bit rates, and it also has to be transportable on internet, which means you get access to cloud services where you can get both tools and the content available in simultaneous places at the same time. So you can have parallel workflows more efficiently, basically. So it's not working. Okay. So we were lucky to cooperate with the Norwegian Defense. They had a 5G cow, as they call it, cell on wheels. That was, of course, quite high-end stuff that we didn't have at the time, so it's nice to be able to borrow. We did that during some innovation days. So we just tried it in a parking lot outside of the army place, but it's not really that exciting. I mean, to cover whatever is happening here, it's just ourselves working. But we have tried the technology, and then we have been able to also check if it sort of lives by our standards. So the main purpose of this trial was the first trial was to check if we could do remote and robust production, which means that we weren't dependent on the backhaul. So if internet or the way to internet broke down, we would still be able to produce within this 5G private island. And we could bring, of course, the main program that is the most important thing home anyhow. We're using live view, and it can basically aggregate the capacity on satellite and multiple cellular networks. We have been looking into type of technologies that are relevant for this. I guess SRT, there has been a lot of talk about that. That's basically retransmitting UDP packets. If something fails, that you need for wireless connections. But there are also products supporting that, and as well a proprietary protocol called Video X-Link, which we found worked fine for us. And there has been a lot of talk about NDI as well. NDI is mainly tailored for a local area network, but with NDI5 it's possible to use it on a wide area network. At the time we tested, it wasn't ready with that feature, reliable UDP, but it's coming, and it's also being supported by mobile devices natively. So I think that is something out for the future. I have to speed up, I think. This is the high-end part. We'll wait with that till we have higher frequencies and more capacity. And we also have a reservation of capacity in our 5G network that we tried to our MCR. This is more tailored for the publicly available networks, but that is of no value if you don't have a network. And that could happen if you're in a crowded area where you have tons of other people requiring the same resources, or basically if you don't have coverage, like here in STADIEM. So we need a network that is reliable and that is our own, with our own frequencies. And that is what the Norwegian Defense has been doing as well. They have been working very hard to test this case, where they are basically triangulating bullets, figuring out where the bullet come from, and if it's friendly or not, with the AI locally in the cow. Edge computing, that is. And they've done a lot of other things, drone flying and stuff like that we're trying to check if we can get pictures from. This is covering all of Norway initially, and it's covering, of course, with pictures before the emergency units arrive. So that could be interesting for news, of course. So this is, I think, the main benefit from the project, that we are basically able to cooperate in many ways we haven't done before. And it's based on a lot of scientists' work for the last 2 years. So this is the group that we have now. It's extending continuously. And I would just like to, in the end, mention that we have already gone on air with this. This was on NRK1 jump production, ski jump production. That was done with 11 cameras. Only 3 of them were 5G. but that worked really fine for parts of the time, 6.5 minutes, I think, and then it failed for 1 second, and then another 6.5 minutes. So we had to switch between the wireless cameras and the wired, but that was just due to a failure in the 5G core that we now have fixed. So this is learning by doing, I think. Now, MCB actually extended this use case to also involve a visual mixer. That's in AWS server. It's available in Stockholm. So we were able to do the visual mixing through Stockholm. And that worked really well as well. Quite impressive, low latency and full NDI, so full quality all the way. Using a video X-Link trunk, data trunk, basically. So this is pictures from that, control rooms. They were really satisfied. Yeah, this is something to build on, I think. Another case that we just recently done a couple of days ago. This was for biathlon. So we have this 5G cow now starting here. So we installed it here, and then we plan to basically do the production with all these wireless cameras from there. And thank God it was wireless, because when we were on the way up there, we realized we had to move the cow in the cellular unit, because they didn't get accreditation for all the people that we needed in the production. So for them to get access to the cow and be able to be around that area, the visitors that we had there, we had to move it 300 meters. And try doing that with an OB van. That's impossible. So this shows that the flexibility is really needed. So the only thing that we had that was on fiber was the backhaul, so the connection to the internet. And the fun thing is the only cable we had was actually cut off by someone driving through it. So it's kind of funny now that we also have another flexibility that is it's all IP. So we were able to connect the 5G cow to the cafeteria here and then still go on air. I mean, in normal circumstances with the kind of equipment and technology that we have today, we would just give up. But we were actually able to do this production. And the control room is here in Oslo on MCB. Okay. We are, of course, just in the end working now with prototypes. They didn't take the cold that good. So one of them died, so one of the cameras, the handheld camera died. But that was basically the only problem we had. So I think this is learning, and bit by bit we're getting more experience with these kind of things that is of use to many others also in the broadcasting industry. So we'd like to share whatever we have learned so that others can build on our experience. And just this example, the prototypes, I mean, they will come for sale, but they will also be able to manage the temperatures in Norway now in the next version, I guess. It will be more rugged, and that is the kind of thing we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Are there any questions for Eric? All right, so we'll jump right to the next one. The next one is Peder. He's from Soundly. And he's going to talk about their latest innovation.
So, thank you. My name is Peder, and I'm from Soundly. All sound effects on films are layered after a film is created. So every door that opens and closes, every cat that meows, every dog that barks is put on afterwards. And a few years ago, getting good sound effects was really, really hard. So we got an idea to make a Spotify-type application for sound effects, which means we have a big cloud library of sound effects that you can access through an application, and the application integrates very well with other software like Pro Tools, Premiere, and basically everything that supports drag and drop as well. We launched 5 years ago, and we've had a really good growth, and we've been working a lot on making the application better and integrate better with other tools, and we've worked a lot on building the sound library better. So this is the first time we're with Medieklyngen, as we call it in Norwegian. So we just thought we'd have a short presentation of what Soundly actually is, and that is what Soundly is. And it's two parts. One of the parts is making the application good, and the other part is making the sound effects library good. We also give big users access to their own cloud space where they can cooperate in the cloud. And we have been able to, over the years, to get some very good clients. So NRK is here. NRK is a big user of Soundly. And we have Ubisoft, Audible, LA Film School, Sveriges Radio, Pandora, Sony Pictures, and Netflix as some of our bigger multi-users. I thought I'd end the presentation with showing you a film on how we work behind the scenes. Which hopefully... think clicking.
What do you think?
Okay. Oh.
Okay, thank you so much, Peder. So the next presenter is not physically here in this room. He's actually live online. So we're going to invite Christian Strømme to join us from View. So Christian, are you with us? This is a very exciting moment, of course. When,
Can you hear me?
I can. Great.
Good.
Cool.
Good.
So please take it away.
So, as mentioned, my name is Christian Strømme, and I'm the CEO of View. So, View is a platform for indexing video to create brand new experiences for the audience at the same time as giving streaming services a way to both add new functionality and to monetize the viewing audience by tapping into the ad space opportunities of the pause screen. So, View is an enrichment engine. It's designed to let anyone create, share, and enjoy a richer entertainment experience. So we started View originally because we had a hunger for extra material and more in-depth content on streaming services. Myself personally, I had a very deep craving for the bonus materials found on DVDs and Blu-rays, but that wasn't available on the streaming services. At the same time, we saw the potential for building a community of enthusiasts that would feed the platform with content, and that would help us create new types of experiences when watching movies and TV shows. So we built a platform that allowed anyone to create synchronized content, that is tied to the timeline of a movie or an episode of a TV show. So as everybody else, I take out my phone when I watch a movie or a show and I search for more information about what I'm watching. Who is that guy? Where have I seen him before? Where's that beautiful beach? Did Queen Elizabeth really do that? Right? What is that song? Where can I buy that cool jacket? And we saw very clear data points showing us that we weren't alone in doing this. So we wanted to collect all of this information in one easy to find place and in a way that surfaced the information when the viewers wanted it. So we saw a big increasing trend of viewers wanting to go deeper into the worlds they were watching on screen. And we also saw very clear trends that viewers create a stronger, longer lasting relationship with their favorite titles than ever before. So as the platform matured, we realized that there's a larger need on the B2B side where streaming services are facing a more competitive market than ever before. And whenever a viewer takes out their phone to search for information about what they're watching, they're also spending less time on the streaming platform. So View allows streaming services to stand out by providing the viewers with everything they're looking for in one place. Cast, trivia, locations, music, props and items, and also other pieces of timeline metadata like chapters and moments that enable functionality like skip intro, or for AVOD services provides the most natural ad break moments in a title. So this allows the streaming services to take full control of the pause screen in a way that they haven't been able to do before. And by giving their audience an easily discoverable path to satisfying their curiosity, View enables new monetization options for our partners where they can present products when the viewer is engaged and curious about them in a way that does not feel like a heavy-handed intrusion, but as a genuinely valuable addition to the viewing experience. So that can be clothes or other purchasable items, or for instance, locations or music that can also be connected to an affiliated partner. So to enable all of this, we've created completely unique and highly efficient production tools for indexing video that uses a combination of automatic content aggregation in addition to human creation and curation. And that allows us to create high quality content for any title in both a very fast and a very economically feasible way. So the platform is now home to complete content for almost 3,000 titles, allowing especially new partners on the TVOD side to hit the ground running. And at the same time, we can very easily build content for more unique content libraries for new partners. So thank you so much for your time. I'm very open to questions now, or if you have questions later, you can feel free to email me directly at christian@view.tv, and I'm happy to hop on a Zoom or a Google Meet to tell you more about what we do.
Great, thank you so much. So are there any questions for Christian? All right, so we're gonna go to Bergen, where Christopher is. And Christopher, you're ready with the next presenter, right?
I am. Welcome back to the Bergen studio, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to Bjørn Nielsen, who will be talking about camera robotics and what Electric Friends have been up to recently. So Bjørn, please.
Yeah, my name is Bjørn Nielsen. I'm in charge of sales at Electric Friends. Is it working? Sales at Electric Friends. So what we are doing is we are creating robotics and robotic controls for efficient studio productions. So you could say that we are friends of good studio environments. This one should... Now, this is a classic studio setup, and this shows one of the two problems with a studio production. One of them is efficient use of space, efficient use of the available floor space in the studio, which you can see from this picture is not a very efficient setting. The other thing that we are aiming at is a more efficient use of manpower in a production setting. In other words, reduce the need for more personnel to be involved in the studio production by automating the production and the show run. Next one. This is a place which is familiar to many of you, maybe most of you. This is the TV2 newsroom in this building, or in the other building actually. And this shows a very different use of space from the previous picture. This shows a studio where you can use every square meter of the studio available. You can have a large variety of angles, large variety of motions, and also use the robotics as, so to say, elements of a set design in a studio setting. We have sold so far close to 50 robotic units like these to customers in Europe, in China, in Middle East, who are operating these systems now. So this is the standard model. This is the standard setup of an Electric Friends robotic product. But we have also been approached by large customers who want many robots and have special requirements. So for one particular customers, we've also now made a new version available, which includes a see-through prompter monitor, which they wanted to have in the robots. So this is a product that's just finished of development and is on its way out to a major European broadcasting corporation who wants 8 robots in their studio, new studio. So we also have flexibility when it comes to developing alternative solutions for the robotics. A major part of what we're doing is the tracks, the concept of our tracks. because the tracks are designed to give you a flushed floor. They will actually go down into the floor and give you a totally flushed floor in the studio. Like the people who have been to TV2 studio have seen, you can walk across the rails, the tracks, without any problems. And also the fact that we are putting the cable for the robot, serving all the needs of the robot. We are putting that cable down into the rail, so there's no cable on the floor, which is also a feature that's very much appreciated by our clients. So you've got a clean floor, no obstacles, and you've got a cable-free floor. So these are the traditional rails that we are using for TV2 installation, but we also have a new model of rails which are slightly higher than the other ones, and they are meant to be put up for a temporary installation, for instance a show, an external event of some sort, and then it can be easily set up and taken down again for a limited period. And this shows a setup that we have in Paris, in France, for a particular customer, and just to show him how easy it is to set it up and take it down again. Next one. But the product that we are most proud to announce is that we also now developed a robotic control system called the AC2, Access Control 2, including a separate control panel, as you can see in the picture. And this is a very advanced system where you can define shots, motions, shows, and so on. And now we are entering into an area which I will have some help to present a little bit later. But this is our new product, and again, it's been sold to customers in China and also a major European broadcasting corporation. The role we want to have in the studio setting is the central role of being the controller of everything that moves in a studio and everything that provides images in the studio cameras. So we control our robots, obviously, but we can also control PTC cameras and third-party robotics into one system. And we can also add AI functionality. In other words, we can look at the picture and then adjust the robotics according to the picture. So this is where we're aiming for to be the central system, operating under an automation control system, obviously, but again, have the major functionality in the system. And this is where I have to leave the floor to my colleague, Jeanette, because we've just employed Jeanette in Electric French. She's coming from TV2 as a producer, and what we are aiming for now is to better understand the point of view of a producer, and she can give you then an introduction to the views of a producer. So, Jeanette.
So I'm Jeanette. I just started 2 weeks ago, so that's why I have my cheat sheet. And I'm used to doing this in Norwegian in our control room here in Bergen. So I just spoke to Einar yesterday, and he said you have to do it in English. So I apologize up front. So I'm going to talk about the AC2 and what it can offer you. You have the standards.
He's trying to change the video.
Okay. I know that we don't have much time, so I can just go quickly through it. And if anyone wants to see the video afterwards, that's fine. So the AC2 offers you what you can expect from any standard systems. But our engineers have added some nice additions. So we've added advanced path planning with keyframes. This is where we build a path with keyframes until you end up at the M frame. So this gives you the ability to specify time, if you want to tilt, zoom, pan, until you get through the keyframes, and you will end up at the M frame. You can either do this automatically or you can do it manually, but it will give you a smooth path through the keyframes and to the end of the shot. I will skip this since we don't have much time. The second one we have is the personalized frames, which we call P-frame. Is a personal-dependent facial recognition. It will recognize or identify who's in the frame and adjust the shot accordingly, or the frame accordingly. So if the person is tall or small, so in Bergen we have Arild and we have Morten, you will only actually need one shot for multiple people, and it will self-adjust. Our third advanced shot is our advanced shot properties. this is where we have the phase and post tracking. So if your talent is off their mark in the studio, the shot will automatically adjust by tracking onto the face based on where you want the face to be positioned in the frame. The post will also give the presenter the space in the shot to move around and to interact with other people or graphics for the long side compositions. So this will also self-adjust. So these are just some of the new additions that we wanted to present for you today. And since I can show the last one, I would just say, if you want a presentation, we can send it to you. So these are just some of the few features.
Thank you so much, Jeanette and Bjørn. I do apologize for the missing AA battery. That's sort of what can happen even in this scenario. So, do we have any questions? Okay, I think we are ready to move on to the next speaker. Dagfinn Bach from MusicDNA that will be giving us an update on what they have been working on in terms of collecting royalties for music.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Dagfinn Bach. I was the founder of this company, MusicDNA, actually 14 years ago. It's a spin-off from the famous Fraunhofer Institute in Germany. But we had our offices in Bergen, and then we moved to Germany, and now I moved back again to Bergen. I was also one of the co-founding partners of Media City Bergen. That's when we had our headquarters here. So what we have been doing all these years, we spent maybe 4 or 5 years to develop algorithms. So we have now a very powerful radio monitoring system where we monitor 30,000 stations, close to real time. We recognize which music they play every 10 seconds. So it's a massive detection service, which is matched in a green data center in Norway. And currently we have now 1 of 3 top artists as our clients, where we try to help them to rescue royalties that they have lost, because there is a huge losses in royalties in this sector due to lack of transparency, inaccuracy, but also in some countries quite corrupt regimes. So next slide. Yeah, it was founded together with Professor Karl-Heinz Brandenburg, who was one of the inventors of MP3. Our first customer was IFPI Germany, which is the major labels in Germany that hired us to make the weekly charts in Germany. And now we have moved back to Norway, and with a new research grant from the Research Council of Norway, we are developing further algorithms and also business analytics together with the Norwegian School of Economics here in Bergen and also University of Agder in Kristiansand, who is the only place in Norway where they have a research center in the focusing on the music industry aspects. Next slide. So I said we are one of the world's, maybe the world's biggest service. We have 2 million detections or discoveries per day with complete data sets. And this is the information we are now using to win claims and hope for settlements very soon. Next slide. So these are the most important customers we have now. As you see, we represent almost close to 200,000 artists looking for to see their royalties. Next slide. So we are on the top 200 list of Spotify and Billboard. We represent 1 of 3 artists. And we have currently a claim of $10 million in one country on behalf of 2 of our clients, where we have documented 25 million airplays that haven't been paid for. And this is only the start. Next slide. market is 12 billion euro per year, and there are huge dark numbers. And if you read the news, you see also a lot of venture funds are also now investing in music rights because they have a value 60 years after the death of the rights holder. So our business model is a mix of sales per data set, but also commission. And we have also a huge potential of reuse because we can use our data to develop smart big data application for the OEM and car industries. We have already had successful pilots with 2 major players in the car industry. Next slide. Our infrastructure is massive, 600 servers worldwide that listen 24/7. And we have been tagging and analyzing 36 million recordings. And it's all the data are matched in a data center up in the Jostedal Valley, close to the Jostedal Glacier, which is a 100% zero emission data center. So we are now also an important infrastructure for optimizing income of investment rights, identifying works, and secure full transparency. Next slide. So that's all from my side. If you want more question, just send me an email and I will try to answer as best as I can.
Still on camera. I would like to introduce you to Brendan Sultana from Wolftech. Please, Brendan.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Brendan from Wolftech Broadcast Solutions. So I just want to give you a real glimpse into who we are and what products we're bringing to market, I guess. For a bit of context as well, we, Wolftech, like a few others here today, are a TV2 Norway company. So Electric Friends, who we've already seen, Vimond, who I think we'll see a little bit later, to name a few, I guess. Next slide, please, if I don't have a clicker. Yep, perfect. So what we're doing is really delivering a story-centric workflow management system. What we're trying to do here is guide the idea of a story or a production through that entire process out to multi-platform publishing. So to do that, we're really focusing on the planning aspects and the use of resources throughout. Our focus here is really on I guess guiding that story and enabling every user within an organisation to collaborate within the story and contribute together and add content to a story to enhance the overall storytelling process. Next slide, please. So what we're delivering really is a web-based collaboration tool. So the emphasis really is on the ease of use and accessibility from all devices. So we have obviously a web browser version, but also our mobile app, which is developed in parallel with our web browser. So everything we try to achieve on the web browser is also contributed to or developed in our mobile app as well. So that's really enabling all our users, and I guess that's become more pertinent than ever over the last year or two with people working remotely and out in the field to be able to contribute to storytelling whilst they're on the go or working remotely. Next slide. So what problem are we solving? I think it's become pretty obvious over the years that a lot of teams and departments and offices in media organisations tend to work in their own little silos. So what we're really trying to do here is break down the walls between all these teams and departments and enable them to collaborate and work more effectively together. In doing so, we realise there's a plethora of different tools that people can use to communicate, and there's obviously a lot of metadata that can be lost through these various forms or platforms that they may use. So what we're trying to do is bring everybody into the one tool to collaborate, work together, and be able to contribute to a story despite being in various offices or departments or even cities around the world. Next slide. So what our platform's really doing is giving a nice overview of all the stories and productions you have, depending on the role you have as a user. So our system is quite highly configurable depending on your role. So as I alluded to, what we're endeavoring to do is enable everybody, just no matter what role you have within a media organization, to be able to use this tool or our solutions, and again, collaborate together, but not everybody works in the same way, so they all want to perhaps see different things. So the system being so configurable enables everybody to work in the same tool, but see what they want depending on their role. Next slide. So in summary, I guess what we've got are three products that we're bringing to market. So Wolftech News, Wolftech Production, and Wolftech Live are our three products. Wolftech News and Wolftech Production are both planning tools, and then Wolftech Live is a rundown module, our own newsroom computer system. So on this next slide here, you'll see Wolftech News, this short form planning tool, is really consolidating these four elements into the one system. So everything from your research, your planning, your booking of human resources and technical equipment, and then distribution out to various publishing points. On the next slide, we'll see our long-form planning tool, which is quite unique to our system, enabling all your short-form and long-form productions to be planned and produced inside the one tool. So what Wolftech Production is doing is more for long-form productions, but it's really leveraging all these aspects of news planning. So all your research, again, booking all your resources, technical equipment, contributing to the whole concept or the story or that production all together within the one system. And it's leveraging all these elements and functionalities of our Wolftech News system. But on the next slide, you do notice that that your long-form productions tend to be much more complex in nature. So they have many phases and milestones and tasks. So what we're doing is enabling the users to have a better visibility or greater transparency over what's occurring within that overall production, and present it in a much more palatable way, and more in a Gantt chart style format, so that you have a much better overview of what you're doing and who's working on all these different phases and the milestones that you're working towards within a production. And then finally, our Wolftech Live product on the next slide is our rundown module. So it's a standalone platform in and of itself, but obviously it has that congruent interface with our planning tool as well. So to wrap up, and I think we're most proud of is, I guess, the customers that we have, and not just the customers and I guess the credibility of our customers, but the diversity of our customer base and the fact that BBC, probably the largest organisation in the world, media organisation in the world by number of employees and users, are obviously using our systems and our solutions in a completely different way to someone like Vice Media in New York. So throughout all our customer base, they're using the same base software in very diverse ways, and we're very proud of the fact that, as I alluded to earlier, our system is so configurable that it enables any type of organisation to be able to use our tool depending on the way that they work and they operate. So thanks for listening to me. Hopefully you got a bit of a glimpse into what we're offering, and feel free to reach out if you want to learn more.
Gary Ellis is with us online, and he's going to do an insights in what they're doing. So Gary, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Excellent. Please take it away.
Yeah, if I can have my slide deck up, please. Okay, I'm Gary Ellis from 60. We make user interfaces for TV operators, typically running on set-top boxes at the moment. And what I wanted to talk to you today was explain some of the challenges involved in that and some of the solutions. So let's just pitch what an average TV operator has. TV operator typically has 5 to 8 different code stacks across different devices, all delivering the same thing, their customer user interface, whether it be iOS, Android, whether it be a web browser, whether it be a proprietary set-top box, all running across multiple platforms. So today, things are changing. So most of the devices that render TV actually run decent web browsers these days. So our task is really to make the code flexible, portable, programmable, and run it in the browser. Everything's got a browser. So why is this such a big deal? So maintenance, features, and customer support is the big deal. So 8 versions of the code, 8 times the problem. So one version of the code runs on all platforms. Every platform stays up to date with bug fixes and feature enhancements. You don't need to do that feature enhancement 8 times, 8 different ways. Each deployment of the core code can have different configurable options, features, and even templates, different templates to fit it to the screen of those devices. But it's the same core code. That gives one way of doing things for your customer to learn and one supported platform for your customer care. So massively reduces the costs. So what are we showing? So we've taken our set-top box UI that's actually deployed across 5 different operators, across 2 million STBs, across 8 or 10 different versions of set-top box. And we've deployed it to LG, Samsung, and Android smart TV platforms. That means approximately 18 to 22 different platforms, platform versions between the manufacturers, 1 code base for the core application with 3 platform customization layers. So massively reducing the complexity. So why smart TV? Why do we want to move on to that as our next major offering? Well, we don't see it as replacing the set-top box for a while, but it's a great platform for 2nd and 3rd TVs in the home and fits well into smart TV. Uses the same design language and features as the set-top box and provides the opportunity for the operator to launch an entry-level tier product for casual users with almost no capital outlay. So it allows the TV operators to spread through the home onto customer purchased equipment and open up their service into multiple rooms of the house without incurring that same capex. So let's have a look at it. Let's, if we can run the video, hopefully that will be self-explanatory. It goes on a bit and I'll tell you when to stop. So let's have a look at it. This is a standard LG smart TV. You can see the menu at the bottom, and bottom left you'll see a WebOS icon, which is Ease TV for WebOS. So let's go and have a look. Okay, we'll click on that one. We'll load Ease TV. It's going to the server and picking up the HTML, and bingo. So straight into the EPG, classic EPG, forwards and backwards, multi-channel. As you select each item, you get the picture and the synopsis at the bottom. Let's have a look at the more details of that episode. So you get the big poster, you get the options that are available for that showing. Okay. Standard menu for navigating, so we can go to live TV. We've got a catch-up section where you can put all your catch-up content either by channel or by genre or however the operator wants it set up. My TV, which shows you stuff that you've already watched, you've half watched, anything you've put a bookmark on, purchases in VOD, etc. So yeah, very personalized view of your TV. Movies and series, the classic portal. Pulling in the posters. Yeah, quite a heavy load on this one on my cabin broadband, so it's not particularly fast. But yeah, usual 3 swim lanes configured on this. But the point is, it's exactly the same UI as the set-top box. This is exactly the same setup as the set-top box that's deployed in 2 million devices and 5 different operators. So yeah, when you run it on the smart TV, you get exactly the same features, you get exactly the same status of code with all of the options that are available. I would expect that when they put it on the smart TV, they would effectively down option it because there are less buttons on the remote control to play with. You might limit the packages available to smart TV customers. But yeah, this is what we talk about. This is what we mean when we talk about portable code. Exactly the same for your customer service representatives, exactly the same experience for your users, and all of the same base code in there. So you develop once, you deploy multiple places. So this will be tested across 21 different devices, across 3 different OSs, so Android TV, Tizen, and WebOS, that have 5, 6 deployed versions each of their platform. But again, the same code. Make it portable, use it everywhere. Okay, that's the demo. That's what...
That'll do. Switch it off. Thank you. I ran over.
Or are there any questions? I got too excited to just go on. So our next speaker is from Quine, Gunleik, and he's going to present here in Oslo. So we have the clicker there. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm Gunleik Roen. I'm CEO and co-founder of Quine, and I'm essentially going to talk about what we've done the last year, as we're like a startup and we just sort of got out of the gates. And we work with a product asset management system. We work towards all kind of productions that go through a full edit and very often an online post-production. That means most TV series, all feature films, commercials, no streaming, no live production. We don't do live production, just to say that in the beginning. So, a bit of bragging first, as I got this for free on Facebook. So, Paul Svenvig is CTO at Nordic Film Shortcut. We participated pretty heavily in making this year's Julecalender, which is one of the biggest productions in Norway this year. And normally I don't talk about our productions, but when they offer, without you, we couldn't have done this. I'm kind of proud. I'll get into what we've been doing. So, in this first year, we've been doing 84 productions, including what we're currently doing. It's pretty good spread of production types, which is important to me at least. We work with dramas, reality shows, documentaries, feature films, commercials, and TV series. This represents around 300 hours of deliverables, and most of this is done in Norway in 1 year, so we've done a small impact here. From like the biggest clients, like NRK is one of our clients, to small houses doing one show at a time. This is a problem we try to solve. This is how a production looks after a couple of weeks shooting. You have all these nodes and blobs that need to interact and exchange data and communication and files. And we automate a lot of this interaction and automate who gets what when, who can see what when, that each node gets the right file type as soon as it's ready. And what we do differently than anyone else I know is that our product is essentially a distributed file system. Think of it as an operating system going over multiple computers and the cloud. And this gives us the functionality that we never actually need to have every data centralized at any time. And we can use the available infrastructure like internet connectivity where it is. So it's pretty COVID friendly. That's what's one of the reasons we could do the Christmas calendar. It's very environmentally friendly. And we take every user in a production into the same system. And we distribute payload. I'll say that again because that's kind of what it really makes it work. This is just quickly like mock-up of a typical production. You have some ingest 1 or 5 places at the same time. Immediately that goes into dailies. It gets to the editors. For the reality shows and documentaries, you have lots of people sitting and transcribing in our tools, and then that goes, dynamically in and out of the editor platform. So This is why it's been important for COVID. You have had like drama productions with 5 people behind the camera on set. That's kind of insane. I'm used to like 30 to 50. It allows work from home. Again, the distributed payload. You really can work with us with a 3G line. We love 10G, but love 3G mobile line. And simplifying automation. One thing I didn't think of is how green we are, but we looked a little bit into one documentary production we're involved in. They shoot 5 different places around Norway, couple of places abroad, and you have editors all those places. And on that production only, we save like 300 flights a year, 1,200 hotel nights. I don't know how many taxi rides and how many orange discs. Probably the orange disc maker hates us. And yeah, a bit of efficiency gain from that as well. So right now we have hired Mathias Hekton, which I'm very proud of, and none of you know. So he was like the head sales and support guy for Adobe in Northern Europe for the last 8 years. And we're getting a professional board. We're getting to Avid and Resolve from January, and we're hiring. And for the first time since we started, I can say, I'm pretty sure we're here in a year, and the plan is to mostly get nodes around the world in different verticals for next year, and we have raised a bit of money. I know it's not that kind of presentation, I'll still say that. So, what happened here? Couple of quotes at the end. Quine takes care of what I don't want to spend my time on. That's kind of exactly what we tried to do. And it's addictive, there's no way back. I hope so. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any questions from Gunnlaug? Excellent, over to you, Christopher.
So, let's see. So, Vimond, for those who don't know, is a video online platform for broadcasters, telcos, and really anybody that has a need to distribute video through online formats. Now, we mostly work with broadcasters and telcos, and that's where our background is from as well. We started out actually in the late 1990s. It was an in-house development team at TV2 who developed what eventually became TV2 Sumo, which is now called TV2 Play. But in the period from 1997 to 2011, we got some attention from our sister broadcasters in Scandinavia. So TV4 from Sweden, MTV from Finland. They came to us and said, look, this streaming thing that you're doing, it's kind of cool. We want to do the same, but we don't want to spend 10 years developing the technology for it. And for those who know TV2, that immediately sparked a discussion about, okay, should we start a company and go to the market with this? So we did. In 2011, we established Vimond, and we have ever since grown in that space and worked with the same type of customer profiles. And if we go to the next slide, here you can see an overview of some of our clients today. As you can see, it's mainly based in Northern Europe, in the US and Australia, but we do have some worldwide clients as well, like iFlix, for example. Now a bit about our product. So our product is called Vimond Via. That is our platform, but it consists of different modules that tailor towards different needs within streaming. You don't need to buy everything, so a customer can use some of these modules. I won't go too specifically into the different modules today, but they mainly cover these 5 topics. So ingest acquisition, asset management, planning and editorial, subscriptions, monetization, and distribution and data. Since this is kind of meant to be a replacement of IBC, I thought I'd speak a little bit about the new stuff that we're doing. In the beginning, Vimond, as any other solution, was an on-prem solution based on running your service in the basement or whatever. We'd install it there, and you as a client would have to maintain it. Now, obviously, we moved to the cloud since then, but what we've spent the last 2 to 3 years on is moving our infrastructure from a cloud-based infrastructure to a cloud-native way of working. Now, I won't bore you all with the technical details of what exactly that means, but in terms of the benefits it gives us, it means that we can have more of a continuous delivery to the platform. It means that we can integrate with other companies a lot easier, and it gives us a much faster time for market for new features and developments. So this has been an ongoing process at Vimond, as I said, for 2 to 3 years. But we're basically there now, and all our new clients are launched on this platform. And I should also mention this cloud-native way of working means a lot less hosting costs and less cost of operations for our clients as well. But that's not the only new thing we have installed. We did plan to launch our new content management workflows at IBC this year. Obviously that's not happening, but I guess you're the lucky ones that gets to see it for the first time. So hopefully we have a video here somewhere, if we can play that now. Or maybe that's asking a bit too much. I don't know, do I have to click? Anyway, we can skip it. For those who want to see them, we'll show them to you and we'll do a proper launch as well. But what we've really spent a lot of time and energy on is improving our content management workflows to make it much easier for our clients to work with assets, categories, really utilize drag and drop functionality, and just enhance the metadata working experience a lot for our editorial clients. But I also thought I'd mention a little bit about our latest project. So this is a streaming project that we launched last month down in Australia. It's called Flash. It's the latest installment of Stream Motion, which is partly owned by Telstra and partly owned by News Corp down in Australia. And this is their latest streaming service in a long list of streaming services. But this is a first of its kind streaming service for news. It's really focused on aggregating many different news broadcasters, and international providers as well as domestic providers to give users one simple way of watching news from many different providers. Now there's lots to be said about what benefits that can give. But I personally think it's a very cool project and something I would love to see go internationally as well, so I could use it. But as I said, that's just the latest installment in the streaming services that we have done with Stream Motion. Here you can see a list. So the first one we did was with Fox Sports in 2016, and it has since grown with premium sports services like KO Sports, for example. We launched Binge last year with them, Flash this year, and we're going to launch another one next year as well. Can't say what that is yet, but looking forward to sharing it. But I think this really speaks to about what Vimond is all about. We take those complex back-end processes and make that easy for our clients so they can actually use it to spin up new streaming services and really focus on their front-end user experience for their clients, while we take care of all the difficult back-end stuff. Last but not least, I thought I'd mention a little bit about all the partners that we work with. Obviously, we're part of a broader ecosystem. And we have great partners and companies that help us with all our client projects. You can see some of them on screen here. Not everybody is there. But if you or somebody watching this feel like Vimond would be a cool company to partner with, I thought I'd mention this. Do give us a shout and we'd be happy to chat on that. And with that, that's me. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. I will just check in the room if we have any questions here, or Vegard, I will hear from you in Oslo if you have anyone at your end. If I'm not interrupted, that means that we don't have any questions at the moment. So let me introduce you to Ingrid Agersøster from the fund group that will be presenting two of your startups, Mimir and Mjoll. Please, Ingrid.
Yes, hi. I was actually planning to go back one slide, if that's all right. Yes, just to introduce myself, Ingrid Agersøster. I have the pleasure of presenting two of our companies today, stand-in for Mjoll and 7 Mountains. They are busy with projects and customers and new features and releases, so which is good. You know, we were supposed to be at IBC, and we're happy that we can manage without IBC, I guess, this year. We'll see what happens. So some of you know Mediability. I'll just introduce you quickly to that company. We are a professional equipment provider and system integrator. Mediability works closely with Mjoll and 7 Mountains here in the Nordics, but also a little bit beyond. The most recent project was British GB News, where Mediability was the vendor of delivering the complete cloud-based newsroom integrated with cloud production and management. So I'm not going to go into those details. If you want to learn more about that project, we have plenty of resources on our websites. So today I have the pleasure of introducing Mimir by company Mjoll and Dina by company 7 Mountains. So first, Mimir. We call it cloud production, but also AI for everyone. Mimir was launched only a couple of years ago. I don't know if we can call ourselves a startup anymore. We have over 30 companies that we have managed to secure over only a couple of years, so extremely happy with that. It started off with an idea of creating a brand new cloud-native production asset management tool and tying all the available AI technologies that's out there through open APIs, quite a lot of them, into a useful workflow tool for the everyday journalist and editor. And this is today only a part of what Mimir is. It is a native cloud. It runs 100% on AWS serverless core. And as I said, we have about 30 customers today on the platform. Yeah, so why did we build Mimir? We have a team of extremely experienced people from the broadcast industry, and from many have worked in with news agencies and broadcasters here in the building and outside. And we saw a need for having a efficient tool for finding the content that you need, either for your journalist story or for your editing project. Very often a journalist or a video editor, there's no time to log persons in a video clip or events that's taking place or location of clips and videos. Many of the production companies today, they do their filming and they ingest their materials maybe over the weekend, hoping for the best, get back to work on the Monday and then start working on their video editing projects. And for many, this gives extremely poor search possibilities. It's really hard to find back to the content you need. We actually have customers today that tell us that if they need, let's say, a video clip of Obama in front of the Eiffel Tower on a specific date, it will cost them less to send down a new crew and record that clip than trying to find it in their video archives. And this kind of fueled the idea of creating a smarter tool for finding the content that you need. And for many, this of course also means discovering content that they maybe didn't know that they had in their archives. So Mimir is a tool for producers, journalists, and video editors. It utilizes all these complex technologies out there, from AWS, Google Cloud, IBM Watson, Speechmatics, Scriptics, and all of these available AI technologies, ties that into a workflow tool that is extremely easy for the end user to use. They don't need to worry about the underlying technology. They can use Mimir to automate their logging and make it easy to find back to what they need. And these are some of the AI tools that our customers typically use. Many use Mimir for to automate their transcription, so speech-to-text transcription, and also to translate their transcripts to multiple languages. And of course, detecting objects in videos and faces. We tie into these celebrity databases from AWS and I think IBM has one too. And also to detect events in like sports events and so forth. There's a number of these available AI tools within the platform, and the customer can basically choose what they want to use. Clicker, yeah. So yeah, just getting back to that core key benefit of Mimir is the ability to find what you need for your stories, whether you are a journalist or working on an editing project in your Adobe Premiere or Avid platform, for example. So the first customer of Mimir was IMG in Norway. They launched on the platform only a couple of months after the product was released, actually, in 2019. They thought they were going to use it for just moving their archives to the cloud and backup to the cloud, but they quickly saw the benefit of using it also to automate their logging. So they built a workflow with Mimir for their event tagging and also for transcribing their video clips. And they moved on with using it also for IMG Sweden down the road. Today, Mimir is far more than an AI tool. Over the last 2 years, we have released more than 300 features, and we are positioning it today as a complete cloud production asset management tool. And at IBC, we were supposed to show for the first time also live features in Mimir. But you're free to book a demo to see that anytime. And these are some of the customers that we have today. Not all of them. You recognize these brands, global, small to big media houses. I guess the benefit of Mimir is that you can basically start with one license, one editor or one journalist, and it scales up to as many customers or clients that you need. I think that was it from Mjoll. Yes, thank you. 7 Months is one of the other software startups in Fond Group, and this is a true startup here from the Media City Bergen environment, I should say. The founder comes from different companies here in Media City Bergen, and they had this idea of actually challenging a very well-established market, the newsroom solution market, where we have giant companies in most of the TV stations worldwide, such as Avid iNews and ENPS, Octopus Newsroom, and a few others that are very, very big. So why? I'll try and explain that a little bit. So the founding team of DINA had this idea of building something that is radically simpler for the journalist in the newsroom primarily. They found, after research and interviewing potential customers, that a journalist today, they need to work in maybe as much as 50 different tools throughout the day to manage their news planning and production and publishing on multiple platforms. Switching between platforms to handle their linear news or their scheduled news, to handle their social media news, move over to web platforms and so forth. And also, of course, in many, many cases, these teams work completely without any collaboration with each other. And this is the kind of everyday life for a storyteller in a media house. They should be interconnected. They should be working together on their news for linear, for web, for social media, and so forth. But they are in many cases not doing that. So we built and launched DINA that kind of sits at the center of all the storytelling, regardless of where the story ends up in the news. We do see news as this circular model where it's not common anymore that news only breaks on linear news or like the 6 o'clock news. It may break on Twitter. You develop the story throughout the day. You have more resources, more to tell on your different platforms throughout the day. And we built DINA for having this one unified tool for all the storytelling, regardless of publishing platform. So, and that was the end of the clicker. I'm like clicking. I don't know if that helps. There you go. Oh, yeah, yes, it did. Back. Okay, but that's fine. Yeah. Let's see where I am now. Where am I? Here we are. Yep. So DINA is built for multi-platform publishing. It is built from the scratch, and this is quite important because quite a few of our competitors out there in the market, the big newsroom systems, they also handle multiple platforms in some way, but it's patched on to legacy newsroom systems. And they've added kind of modules for handling social media and websites, etc. The founding partners of 7 Mountains, they started building a cloud, 100% cloud solution from the scratch and on modern web-based technologies. So that's quite important. These are some of the customers that are using DNA today. We've had an international focus from day one, which we're quite good at here at Media City Bergen. And so we currently actually don't have any customers in Norway. No. And it's growing rapidly. We've had actually, it's been different, of course, during COVID, but we haven't had a chance to meet customers as we normally would like, but it's going really well. So, and we did take home some important awards. This was last year, but worth mentioning it. This is for us a huge accomplishment, I would say. And thank you.
So Ingrid, is it safe for me to come up now, or do you have another startup that? I do apologize for jumping in front of the camera at the wrong moment early on. So now it's time for us to open the door to Europe, and that's a whole big area of opportunities that we have discovered over the last couple of years, where we have 2 European-funded projects for startups and scale-ups. Today we will hear more about startup-driven innovation in European media, the STADIEM project, and Anneke Geesen from VRT in Brussels will be joining us now to give us an introduction to the project. So Anneke, please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anneke Geesen, and I am program coordinator for STADIEM. I am also an enthusiastic football fan, especially the Red Devils, Belgium's national team. Whenever they play, I am glued to my screen. Now, if you'll indulge me, I would like to share one of my favorite football moments with you. If we can play the video.
Courtois. Safely grabbed.
It's this goal.
Time for De Bruyne to lead this attack. Japan desperate to cover the spaces. They can't do so for the moment. Lukaku, and here's a winner! Oh, can you believe it? Nasser Chadli.
It's the World Championships 2018, the knockout phase, the match against Japan. We were 2-0 behind. We came back to 2-2, and in the final moments of the game, this beautiful goal happened. I still get goosebumps whenever I watch the snippet. Now, what does this have to do with STADIEM, I hear you ask? Well, everything. STADIEM is about working together to score and win. STADIEM is an accelerator program for startups, scale-ups in next-generation media. It's also very much about the co-creation of solutions. You have to work together with media corporates in order to develop solutions that tackle challenges and problems the media ecosystem is witnessing today. The program provides training, coaching, and mentoring, just like Roberto Martinez does for the Belgian national team. We also set you up to gain as many business and investor leads as possible. And we do that throughout 4 phases of the program. And throughout the 4 phases, you can also get up to 150K of funding. So you can walk away with a fat wallet like the star players in the Belgian national team. The 4 phases of the program correspond with the 4 moments in the winning goal against Japan. Courtois, the goalie, gets the ball, he scans the field and finds the player that is positioned the best to maximize the chances of scoring a goal. In STADIEM, startups and scale-ups scan the media ecosystem and find a media corporate interested in co-creating a solution. After the match phase, we move on to the develop phase. Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best players in the world right now, gets the ball, and with his technical and running abilities, he develops what is needed to score the winning goal. He gives a beautiful pass tailored to the positioning of the whole team, and Meunier in particular. In STADIEM, in the develop phase, startups and scale-ups build on their technical abilities to develop a solution tailored to the needs of the corporates. A new solution can only make sense if it's integrated, and that's what the next phase enables. Meunier looks around where to give the assist, where to integrate the ball so the Belgian team can score. In STADIEM, the integrate phase gives startups and scale-ups the opportunity to integrate their solution in a real-life setting at the corporates and to give the final assist before scoring. and scoring happens in the pilot phase. For me, both Lukaku and Chadli scored the goal. They both used the assist beautifully to make that ball hit the nets. In STADIEM, both startups or scale-ups on the one hand and the corporates on the other hand score in the pilot phase as they co-created a solution that addresses a need on the corporate side and that can open up new markets and opportunities for growth on startup or scale-up side. If you're interested, today's your lucky day because we are opening our second open call for applications on the 15th of December, and the deadline for applications will be February 28th. Have a look on our website to keep track of the call and to stay tuned. Who are we? We are the STADIEM Consortium with VRT, MCB, NMA, and Storytech as co-leads in the running of the program. F6S that runs the open call. Martel, our communications partner, and EBU that nourishes the ecosystem. If you're interested in applying for the program, in getting more information, in asking questions, any question you want, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact details are on screen, or reach out to any of the other partners that are in the consortium. We look forward to helping you. We look forward to helping you win, because that is what STADIEM is all about. Join our community and we'll win together. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Anneke. Today should have been our big day at the IBC with presentation or pitches this afternoon. But such is life. We do it digitally at a later stage. If you do have any questions, if you're in the room and you have questions about STADIEM, then talk to Marianne or Einar, or drop them a line if you're not physically here. Now, I would like to introduce you to one of our stars in the program. Olav Hjertaker from Web64. He joined us already at Media Motor Europe, our first project as a startup, and things have only sort of snowballed since then. And I'm delighted to introduce you to Olav to tell his story.
Yes, hello. Hello. My name is Olav Hjertaker. I'm a founder of Web64, where we aim to understand the world through data. There we go. What we do is at Web64 is we try to create tools for fact checkers, journalists, media analysts, researchers, and political advisors to help them gain insights into how important issues shape society. So we have quite a wide variety of clients. It's mainly online publishers, but also political parties, fact checkers, government institutions, and researchers. And at the moment, we're part of the STADIEM program that Anneke just explained. And they were partnering with VRT in Belgium to create custom-built tools for their journalists and fact checkers. So early next year, we'll be launching some really cool new tools. So at the heart of everything we do, we have the real-time semantic graph. This is interconnected data set of pretty much everything that's published online in the country. And as we have all the data within the country, we can do some really interesting things. And this has all the connection between the content, who is publishing it, where it's being shared, how it's connected and linked to other types of content. And this powers our three products. So we have Storyboard, which shows which news are shared in social media. We have Dashboard, which shows real-time dashboards of what's trending in the big online platforms. And then we have Databoard, which is a full-fledged media monitoring solution. So this is Storyboard, which shows in real time what news stories are shared within the country. And this is for Norway. We also cover Denmark, Portugal, and now we're setting this up for Belgium as well. So it shows which are the top stories right now, and you can also see which news sites are getting the most shares in social media. And this is Dashboard. Oh, go back a bit. This is Dashboard, and this shows for a country, this is for Norway, so it shows what's trending on Twitter, what are people searching for in Google, what are people reading on Wikipedia, and which news stories are being shared. So this is often connected, like what are the big stories, then also people are tweeting about it, searching about it, and reading on Wikipedia about it. So Databoard is quite a big application. It's a full media monitoring solution. You can be alerted when a certain story is published, or when a certain journalist has published a story, or when a story from a certain website is trending. But you can also do some really interesting stuff, and I quite like this one. So here you can search for a keyword, and it will tell you which journalists are writing the most about this topic. So this example is searching for wind power, and will tell you which journalists are writing the most about the wind power. So if you want to reach out to a certain journalist about a certain story, then this is a tool to easily find those journalists. And with our archive as well, you can do some interesting comparisons. So for Norway now we have up to 10 years archive. So here's a comparison of NRK and TV2 and how they're performing in social media, going back to 2012. So we can see up till about 2018, TV2 and NRK were about the same level when it comes to social media shares. But since then, NRK has surpassed it, is now leading by quite a bit. And if you look at the big spike in beginning of 2020, that was when Corona hit, and then everyone was in lockdown at home reading the news. So pretty much every media outlet had a very big spike in social media shares back then. And now, as we are almost at the end of 2021, we can start to have a look at which was the big stories this year. So this is for Norway. We also cover for Portugal and Denmark. But the top story in Norway by far was a comment about, or a discussion about the abolishment of the monarchy. So that really caused a bit of engagement in Norway. And it's really interesting as well because we've got so many years of archive to compare to previous years to see kind of the changes in the media landscape and also the political positions of people and what's engaging people. And we can also look at the top 10 sites, news sites in Norway for 2021. So we can see that NRK is almost twice as big as the second one on the list, VG. And then we have Dagbladet, TV2 and Nettavisen as the top 5. But also on the 8th and 9th place we have Resett and Dokument, which are fairly new sites, quite political. So they very quickly rose up to become part of the top 10 news sites in Norway. And that's everything for me for now. So if you want to try any of this out, you can register for a free account at Web64. And then you can dig in and see a lot of interesting stories. And now at the end of the year, we'll also publish more nyhetsåret. Bit of interesting stuff for what's been happening in 2021 in the various social networks. Thank you.
So the next speaker is from Visualyst. His name is Mjoll Silva, and he's physically here in Oslo. So please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. And yes, physically we are here in Oslo, but spiritually, I guess we are also in Bergen. My background is very much in working with MCB companies. I used to be part of Vimond. I used to be part of the TV2 company Vimond, and I work a lot with the companies that just presented now. But my name is Mjoll. I am the founder and CEO of Visualyst. We are a company that works with automated compliance reviews for the film and the TV industry. Now, a lot of the audience that's here today is already quite knowledgeable of broadcast and how that works and what compliance is really all about. Usually, I need to explain this a little bit from scratch. People don't realize that everything that you see on your screen, whether it's on broadcast television, whether it's on streaming, whether it's across social media, all of the videos that you see, which is a lot of video actually, that is going approximately something 60 to 80% of the world's internet traffic is actually video as it stands today. So a lot of this video that gets distributed actually has had to go through a fair amount of scrutiny before it can be published. You know, it's not only just producing the video and then putting it out onto the different world. It actually has to go through several different teams that are normally called the standards and practices team or the content normalization teams, many different names for those teams, that actually take the video and then scrutinize it against the regulations of the market in which they're going to distribute. And there's all sorts of different legislations and regulations when it comes to The ratings that you have to use for the videos, some of them are quite strict in what you need to disclose as contained in the video before you actually publish it. The excessive levels of nudity, violence, whether you're going to have alcohol included in that video, whether it's any drug consumption that is going to be depicted, whenever there's any kind of like suicide attempts that are either for artistic purposes, scripted, or just generally things that are caught on camera that you shouldn't have published for GDPR purposes as well. So what we do is we've created a platform that helps these teams to actually scrutinize this video a lot faster than they do today. Today, this kind of work is very manual. It's getting done by small armies of people that they do day in and day out as they watch video, and they go through their different policies and they go through the different checklists. And very often they have to work sequentially. They send it over to an editorial team, then it goes on to a legal team, then it goes back to an editorial team, et cetera, et cetera. We try to bring everything into one platform and using the power of the cloud and using the power of artificial intelligence to be able to crawl, identify, dissect things, slice and dice it, and then let human moderators basically make the final decision on what's okay and not okay. But NCE Media asked us to talk about some of the cool things that we're working on, and these were some of the things that we're going to present at IBC. One of the things that's very cool that we're working on right now, and this is a project that's actually has been financed by STADIEM. So my apologies to you, Anneke, that I didn't actually put up the STADIEM logo. Through STADIEM, we reached out to several different people, and PBS America was one of the customers that said, we would like to work with you guys on the following. Whenever you are doing compliance-related reviews for a different video, it's very easy to miss things that are happening in the background. If there's any kind of like text with bad words on graffiti on the wall, or any type of like T-shirt that is being worn by somebody in the background with a symbol that might be offensive, that kind of like thing is very easy to mix. So we would love for you guys to train a model to detect a kind of like background textual information and make it visible for the teams to be able then to make up their minds whether it's okay or not okay to show it. So that's one of the things that we're working on. And we already have a model. We are a company that's very laser focused right now in solving this particular workflow because it's a workflow that nobody really enjoys doing, but it's very, very important. It's a workflow that if you do this work poorly, the consequences, the financial consequences may actually be quite severe. There's many different cases of broadcasters that have been fined millions and millions of dollars, euros, pounds, whatever your figure is, or that have even taken their license taken away or have been suspended for an X amount of time just because they published things that they shouldn't have been publishing according to the regulations or the legislation of a given market. Beyond doing this work then, we're also working on something on the labs, which is to identify things that are implied. Again, not only are we good software developers, we're also data scientists. And we believe that data science, the way it is today, or the models that exist for AI, they're actually very, very good at finding things which are very concrete. Like if you want to identify a weapon, you can find a weapon. If you want to identify a weapon and a scene where basically somebody on a scripted production intends to use that weapon for self-harm, AI isn't really very good at helping you with that. So we're trying to, normally the way this happens is you're supposed to depict on the video that there's suicide before anybody watches the video. And normally the way this happens is it's not actually very concrete what's happening on screen. It's you have a depiction of somebody who's very depressed, and then the next scene is somebody that's actually mourning them next to their grave. So it's been implied, but it hasn't been shown on screen. So it's very hard for AI to detect that, and we're doing something about that. We're actually training AI to be able to be a lot more contextual and be able then to depict things that are implied but not specifically depicted. One of the many cool things that we're working on, we would have loved to show you at IBC. We do have basically demos and videos and everything that we can distribute. So if you're interested in learning more about what we do, by all means, take contact. Link up in LinkedIn or send me an email. We'll be quite happy then to show you everything that we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mjoll? All right, so we'll move on to our next speaker. So the next speaker that we're having is coming in through our online platform. Her name is Maria, and she's from StormGeo. Maria, are you with us?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
let's see if we can get my presentation on the screen. There it is. Great. So my name is Maria Goodis, and I'm a meteorologist at StormGeo based in Stockholm. And for you who don't know, StormGeo is a global provider of advanced weather services, and we deliver decision support for weather-sensitive operations all around the world. And we work in several different industries, such as renewables, shipping, and then what I'm here to talk about today, which is media. And more specifically, StormGeo Studio, which is a brand new way of communicating weather. And StormGeo Studio provides a low-cost and very flexible solution for media outlets to create great weather content, and it's completely cloud-based. And you all have seen weather on TV, from your local forecast to your national networks. But what many people don't know is that these graphics often require very heavy-duty and expensive hardware that can only be accessible from a designated computer. But the media landscape is changing. We're all aware of that. And we need to be able to go live at an instant very quickly. And many of my colleagues and I, we do a lot of our broadcasting outside, away from the studio, from our computers or just from our cell phones. And this is where StormGeo Studio enters the stage. So like I mentioned, it's a cloud-based weather graphics system that you can access from anywhere. And it helps you create very localized, detailed weather forecasts. You can share tweets, you can track large-scale storms, and a lot more. And it's built so meteorologists can create very advanced weather stories, but also that journalists, producers, or any content creators can create weather stories as well. And that's possible because we use one of the best, or if not the best, global weather model, the ECMWF, which is from the European Center of Forecasting. So that also allows you to use this anywhere in the world. And like I said, it's a great option for media outlets, but it also opens the door for other industries to showcase weather, that want to communicate weather. So everything from screens at airports to buses or trains, or why not pharmacies and hotels and resorts. So that's just a very quick overview of StormGeo Studio. And I have a short little video we're going to end with that will give you a bit of a feel for what it looks like. So if you can the video. Great, and that's it from me. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or give me a call. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Maria. All right, and now we're going back to Bergen. Are you there, Christopher?
I am right here.
Right, awesome.
So, thank you very much. I was thinking, Vegard, that I suspected some might have lost the count. And how many do we have left? We have 3 presentations left, so we're getting towards the end now. And the next presentation will also be through our web link from Håvard Tveit at Everviz. Are you there, Håvard?
Okay, my name is Håvard. I'm the CEO of Everviz. We are also a fairly new company here in the media cluster, so I'm super excited to be here. Our product makes it easy to communicate your stories visually. So just to take you a little bit on the background. about 10 years ago, there was a founder called Torstein Hønsi, founded a company called Highsoft. So many of you in the audience are maybe familiar with that. So basically, he's a geologist, and went up to the mountain every day to measure the snow depth for the surrounding mountains on the village where he lived. So he went back to his garage and started working on a JavaScript library for making modern data visualizations. Today, about 10 years later, HighCharts is like the most popular JavaScript visualization tool out there in the market. And if you see an interactive chart on Facebook, LinkedIn, or basically wherever you are online, it's a big chance that there is some HighCharts technology under the hood. Yeah, so why I'm talking about HighCharts. So the reason why I'm doing that is because we're coming from that organization. So about two years ago, we had been working with the Everviz product within the HighCharts family of product for quite some years. And we decided back in 2020 that let's take this product over to a different company, to a new company, basically to have a team that focuses on a cloud-based experience for people that are non-developers. So HighCharts family of products are reaching out to developers all over the world, whereas we are focusing on content creators, marketing people, journalists, data journalists, and so on. So let me click here, give me 1 sec. Next slide, please. All right, perfect. So what is Everviz? So it is a cloud-based data visualization tool that empowers your teams to create interactive charts, maps, and much, much more. And you don't have to be any coder to work with the tool. Next slide, please. So how does it work? So basically you take your Excel file or your data file or connect it to a live data source, bring it into Everviz, pick your favorite visualization type for your story, and do some customizations, publish, and embed the interactive visualization into your content management system. It contains a lot of different visualization types, all the way from typically like line charts, bar charts, but also very advanced types like stream graphs, polyamid graphs, and so on. So you should check it out. It's a very powerful tool. Next slide, please. So here on your right, there is an example from an article created by a journalist at NRK. So when you see that the chart here, when the reader is hovering the different points in the chart, you see that you get these interactive elements with more information when hovering points and so on. So it makes it so much more engaging to read this article than if this was like a static image of a chart. As you also see on this little animation is that the chart also looks good on a small mobile device. So, and that means all the charts you create with Everviz are responsive. So they will look good on a small mobile device or a big TV screen. On top of that, we have, go back one more. On top of that, we have world-class accessibility support within the tool. So this is becoming more and more important for news outlets, being compatible with the different accessibility standards. And it also means that you can reach out to a bigger audience and you don't have to worry about it. Another good thing is that you can incorporate your corporate branding, like colors, fonts, and other the design elements in your brand very easily in the chart. So everything you create will be consistent with your brand. We also work with the goal that our customers can create the chart once and reuse for different platforms. So this is what you're seeing here now is from an online platform, but you could also download this as an SVG or PDF and use it for your print publication, or you can download as an image, use for presentations, or you can even download as an animated transparent video file that you can import into your video editing workflows, such as in Adobe or Avid workflows. And of course, since it is a cloud-based tool, you can gather all your visualization stories into one pool to make it easy for your entire team to maintain existing projects and collaborate. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, we have our office here in Media City Bergen. We are happy to be part of the whole cluster, and of course, we are utilizing that for all it's worth. We're collaborating with the NC Media, customer partners, university, and also other cool technology partners. Yeah, next slide, please. Here are a few customer examples. Most of our customers are outside of Norway, but the common thing or the common need for all of our customers is that they want to tell stories with data. They have a lot of data and they want to make it appealing, engaging, brand consistent, and all of that. So that means our customers are typically within the field of journalism, but also in communication teams and marketing teams across the globe. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that's my final slide. If you are interested in talking more about how we can help you tell stories with data and create effective workflows, please get in touch with us, or you can even try it out for free. Go to everviz.com. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Very good, Håvard. We hope to see you back from the quarantine very shortly. And if we don't have any questions, I would like to introduce you to Kjetil Hornan from Eastlive that will sort of give you an insight into the world of viewer interaction. Please.
Thank you, Christopher. So yeah, I wanted to talk today about engaging your audience on OTT services and kind of how the world is developing when it comes to live sports. So we never had more live services than we do today. Live sports is kind of the key driver for a lot of services. It's the reason why you go and sign up for a subscription. But beyond having that subscription, and you probably have many of them now, what you do as the next step, how do you keep your users longer on that service? So Eastlive, let's see if this clicker works, yep, is then a cloud solution for creating interactive content that will follow your video streams. It will always stay in sync with what is being played. So let's say you're watching a soccer match, you'll be having graphics on top of this video stream, which will be rendered directly on your device. So basically it allows you to create graphics that look like broadcast graphics. They behave like apps, they're connected to data, they're always correct when it comes to timed metadata information, and it allows you to enhance the sports offering to become something more. So the reason for doing that is really to enhance the video services. And Eastlive is then part of Everviz. So our company was acquired actually last year. So Everviz is a huge global company with 1,700 people. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of annual revenue, a pretty big company, doing basically everything you need to handle a media distribution today. So Eastlive then kind of sits at the endpoint of that type of distribution, and there's many companies around the world that have video distribution, which is a very much growing industry. So we work with companies like the NBA. NBA we work with several years. We distribute their interactive overlays on a worldwide basis, which means that you have about 187 countries in the world, which is accepting and seeing interactive content being played out on top of the video stream. Another example is the work with the Yankees. So this is one of our recent launches where you can see baseball matches with the Yes Network. in New York as part of their service where they're presenting live data and content on the baseball match. So let's take a look at the first video we have in our slide deck. So we talk about doing interactive overlays. These are graphics that are alive. So think about your graphics content the way you're used to seeing it. But now you have an ecosystem where you can connect anything. So think about it as gluing a layer of the internet on top of video. You can do anything you do online on a web, you can do in this system. Beyond that, we've made it so that you can do this without really having to code anything. Almost you can do it without having to code. So in this platform, you have a solution where you can create digital overlays that become HTML5 graphics, but they will be connected to data. Anything that you display will always be kind of synchronized. So this gives you a lot of opportunities to increase the time the users spend on the stream. It gives opportunities to do new promotional elements, sponsored elements, do interactive clicks, where you can kind of draw that audience into something that generates new value that you didn't have before. So that's just a quick glimpse of what can be created on this platform. We do have scalability on this. You can scale also to millions of users that are concurrent in the cloud. So it's a fairly large cloud system behind the whole thing that allows you to be flexible and connect a lot of third parties into this distribution. So another cool thing is really providing feedback from end users. So we're actually connecting all the way to end users and all the way back to a studio where users can actually provide an answer to a quiz and a poll, and we will immediately see their response in the studio and know where to take the next step in the storytelling. So the industry is working a lot on this. Obviously, few next steps will be live betting and a lot of features like that, with legislations, especially in the US, opening up on betting. So then we can jump back, please, to the slide deck. To talk a little bit at the end, just briefly about what it creates in result. These are some of the figures that you can see on our website if you go check out the Yes Network case study. So in just a matter of 2 months, they were able to get an increase of 38% of the average unique streams per game. So that's one example of creating growth on top of what was already kind of a successful app in the market. So I'm gonna speed up and do one more thing here. At the end, just to give you guys a glimpse of what's happening at Everviz. Everviz is also investing in a company called Shot Tracker, which is sensor data. And this example here shows you how interactivity also could go much further. So one thing is to do interactive graphics content, but what if you can do the same thing with the video signal itself? What if you can choose to say, I want this guy and that guy to always be in the picture frame, and you can do that in a dynamic way. So what we're seeing here is a baseball match. It's a camera from a far angle. But basically what we can do here is we have a sensor on each player, and we know exactly where they are in a picture at any given time. So by working on that, you can say, well, I want to tell a story about this guy who's just scoring, or I want to tell a story about the guy who didn't score, or who were in a totally different place in the picture at the time. So by going in and selecting these coordinates, we can actually automatically create the flow of the camera, which gives you a totally different story to tell. And imagine this being applied with interactive graphics surrounding it, and being able to, automatically create a new path through the storytelling. So, yes, thank you so much. That's the quick introduction we had today for 5 minutes. If you want to get in touch, please let me know. And thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Amazing stuff. And then we come to, shall we call it the grand finale? Jakob, you will certainly like to have that kind of introduction, I'm sure. And it's all about Bergen Robotics now at the very last presentation of the day. Please.
Thank you. It is very nice to be here.
There you go.
Robotics. It's very nice to be here, thank you. I'm going to talk about our favorite issue, and that is autonomous camera systems. And it was really nice to see the last presentation because it was almost spot on, heading towards what we're talking about. Come on. Sorry, back. Like that. This is our baby. Cameras that can do things automatically for you. this is what we do, this is what we've been done for the past 4 years, and try to work hard to be really good at. And we have some really good electric friends, which we have helped with AI for their systems. That was a really cool project, and it's wonderful to see that these things actually work in practice. There are some things where the target is moving, and you try to make your camera follow. And there's another thing where come on. I can also warn Oslo there will be a video. And thank you. There's another world where the camera is moving. I'm going to talk quite a lot about these things. This is where the camera is moving. This is from a drone. And we move fast. So, in addition to have robotics covering or guiding the camera, there's something which is really important, that is the situational awareness, that we understand what's going on in the studio, out in nature somewhere, in sports, that we actually capture the right things. Situational awareness for everyone that's involved with drones, aircrafts, anything like that, that's the crucial thing. But also in the studio settings, situational awareness is important. The other thing which is important, that is what's called sensor fusion. We are a deep tech company. We do try to get quite deep into what's happening. And the cameras that will analyze what's happening will probably be joined with lots of other sensors. And if you're into, some of you wonder, what is my car actually doing? Some of you have a Tesla, it's a lot of sensors going on there. And these things will happen for the broadcast cameras too, for sure. And next, rocket science. Being able to predict not only where you are, but where you're going. I'm going to capture you in the future, a few seconds or just milliseconds. This is the hard thing of what we do in order to make good robotic cameras. We do have made something in the broadcast area, but our present project is this. StartNet have 11,000 kilometers of power lines. And all these power lines need to be visited at least once a year. And you probably also know that it's quite interesting to know that these things work all the time. So we use AI, computer vision, and robotics to fix this, to actually look at specific components for the power lines. I'm going to show you a video, and I pray to Oslo that it works. Yes, thank you. This is the real thing. Fly by, discover the power line, and what StartNet actually wants to do, that is have pictures of those things. And this is not something that you do in a cloud. You do this on site in a tiny, tiny thing that you can fly. I hope you get an idea of what you also can do for broadcast. But this is the extreme sport variant of robotic cameras. And if you wonder where it is, Otasotro. Come on. Can you switch to the next video, please, Oslo? That's too far. Thank you. Here we you might also be interested in seeing what's going on, the details. And I said this is kind of high-tech discussion. We do recognize the power line, and then we also recognize or discover the components. And these things are also relevant for what's going on in the studio. This is happening in a small computer, not on a cloud, and it's fast, and it works. Next one, please. So our value proposition, both to StartNet and other customers of these kind of camera systems, it is faster, it is better, it is safer, and it's greener, and it's flexible. And in the end, especially for a company like StartNet, it means a lot of money. because they can do it in a more flexible way. And probably also for some broadcasters, this kind of technology might be of interest. We are a deep tech company with PhDs and hard science and robotics. And if you think that you can have some to gain from talk with us, you're welcome to talk with us. This is my address. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. Again, we will ask if there are any questions. Otherwise, Vegard, this has been one interesting ride this afternoon, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been very interesting to see all the presentations. There's such a big variety of content that's been going on in the Media City cluster. So very, very good.
Well done to all the presenters. And if you missed anything or you want to go back to the details, this will be put online so you can go through the video again. If you're looking for some contact details, you could either drop us a line if you have, if you know one of us in the media cluster, will sort of make sure that the contact is made, or use events at ncmedia.no. And we'll make sure that you talk to the right people. So this has been fantastic. It doesn't quite sort of do the IBC justice, but it's a good start. And I'm really pleased that we were able to have so many people with us, Vegard.
Absolutely, and I mean, creds to all of the Media City team and the NCE Media team as well to pulling this together so fast. I mean, with less than a week to plan, very, very impressive.
Now, Vegard, I'm not sure that you can invite your guest to, but we have artificial intelligent beer over here, you see. But it looks like you have Hansa, so that's a good.
Yeah, we actually have the best beer.
Yeah, very good, very good. So, cheers, Vegard. Thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic weekend.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone.